Hi, I work with a lot of partners of sex addicts, and I work with sex addicts. And one of the things that I absolutely know is that this disease is devastating. It's horrible. It steals you of your identity, it steals you of your life. And yet, what I believe to be true is that when recovery occurs for the sex addict, and some safety and stabilization occurs for the coupleship, then it's time to start balancing your life with an acknowledgement of the feelings that you're experiencing and an acknowledgement of the growth that's occurring in your life because you're working hard on things. You see, I really believe that horrible, horrible, horrible things that can happen to us can and do make us feel stronger. I believe in post-traumatic growth. And I believe we all have that capability to take a really tough situation and use it to our advantage. But it does take a certain amount of discipline. I was talking to an addict today, and he's really been in good recovery for 5 years. And he's getting to the age of retirement. And yet, one of the things that he was concerned about was, would he have enough money for the rest of his life? Could he lead and live his life in a way that he got to enjoy the downtime and really smell the roses? He was tired of how hectic his life had been. And now that he has 5 years of recovery under his belt, he really was looking for more serenity. Now, the truth of the matter is, this man makes great money. And that was also enticing him to stay in the game to make more for retirement. Nothing wrong with that. Susie Orman would love that. And yet, intuitively and emotionally, he knew that he was ready to retire. He wanted to retire. He had goals that he wanted to accomplish that he couldn't do if he were working. Okay, he had to do kind of a cost-benefit analysis. And his intellectual side, which is what typically rules him, said, stick with this for another couple of years until you're forced to retire. His company had said that he needed to leave his job at 65. And then the emotional, intuitive side, that's the heart and the gut, was saying, you know what? You've worked hard for a long, long time. And now it's time to lay back and spend some time slowing it down, enjoying your wife, enjoying your family, enjoying your house, and perhaps doing some things that would allow him to decide what would be his next chapter. So for so many of you, once you get some recovery under your belt, you don't have to work so hard on it. It comes natural. There's no need to become complacent, but truly, you've got the routine down, you got the groove, you see how it works, you're working it, and now you can relax a little bit and lean into the relationship repairs in your life. Maybe you're married, maybe you're divorced, maybe you've never been married, but you've got friendships that you know were robbed by your sexual addiction. Okay. What can you do to really acknowledge all the positive change that has occurred in you and take your life to the next level? When I was being trained by Patrick Carnes, he had 4 modules. We had to understand what sexual addiction was and understand how it affected relationships, partnerships, the family. We had to really understand the brain and the neurocircuitry that was redesigned as a result of the sexual addiction and then needed to be redeveloped with good recovery tools. And then one whole module was on what do you do when you are in good recovery and you've dealt with so much guilt and shame, and now it's time to rebuild who you are and feel that sense of integrity and work harder on developing that new sense of self. That's post-traumatic growth. That's what I'm all about here, post-traumatic growth. And what I absolutely know to be true is that that is such a good feeling. So I'm going to encourage you to get some books out on post-traumatic growth. Or if you can be on YouTube, if it's not triggering, YouTube, what is post-traumatic growth? And you'll see that it's not just combat veterans that get healthy. It's also having been in catastrophic, tough situations, whether you're the partner of a sex addict or the sex addict himself, and figuring out how you can use what's happened to a higher good. It's another thing Patrick Carnes taught me is, that 12th step, that giving back is so important. And so how might you give back? I mean, would it directly relate to the sexual addiction or the partner trauma? Or would it be something that you do that totally offsets your old life? Now, maybe you pick up a guitar, or you learn how to play piano, or you start hand gliding. Maybe you take a foreign language. I've got a client who studies Creole, French, and Spanish. And he is activating his brain in a new and different way. And he's developing relationships all over the world that are healthy. So, again, I'm going to encourage you to look at your life, to ask yourself, how are you stronger? What have you learned from your catastrophic developments in the past? How has recovery improved your sense of self, your sense of support? And how might you be a stronger person as a result? And last but not least, how can you give back? Because that's really what life is all about. It's about learning from our mistakes, growing ourselves up, and then giving other people hands up out of their own issues, their own rabbit holes, their own dilemmas, and being a supportive person for them. Okay, I'm Carol the Coach, and if you want more information, you can always go to my website, Sex Help with Carol the Coach. Or if you want just my life coaching information, hey, I'm at carolthecoach.com. I have over 500 articles that I've written on how to take your life to the next level. I encourage you, they're free. Just go for it. And keep watching these YouTubes. I mean, they're great ways of getting some nuggets to plant seeds that need to grow in your brain. I am so happy that you're letting me be a part of your recovery and your post-traumatic growth. Now go out there and make it a good day.